Good afternoon, folks. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. Wednesday, 11th of December 2019. This is, of course, the one and only famous Catherine. And a few days ago on Facebook, Alice advertised a DVD sale. You might remember they're like a little boutique cinema right on the edge of the city there. They're actually one of the first things to reopen after the earthquake back in 2011. They operate out, I think, out of an old post office building that's quite simply built like a brick bunker. And yeah, so they a boutique cinema, and by boutique I think the cinema seats 15 or 20 people. So it's definitely what you call art house. And they also rent DVDs, and they tend to have the less common ones. Of course, not many people even rent DVDs now with Netflix and other streaming options. Anyway, I turned up there 5 or 6 days ago, the first day of the sale. They advertised thousands. When I looked, it's just one small table of 1 metre by 1 metre, and it was stacked about yay high all around. Quite a lot of anime ones. Anyway, I selected a bunch at the time. Oh, and in the past, I remember in Australia a couple of times I've gone and looked at various second-hand shops or places and advertising, DVD sale, $2 each. But if you got like a 5-disc set and take it up to the counter, they want $10 for it. They want $10 per disc. So if it's a multi-disc set, they want $2 per disc. Anyway, I looked the other week or so ago, and I ended up leaving with 5, section 5, and they were only charging $2 per set. But you're buying X rentals, and they warn you. Many of the sets have discs missing. There was a Tintin set that I looked at. I saw someone else looking at it. I looked at it, grabbed hold of it. This is a week or so ago. In fact, I got a supermarket bag, a clear supermarket bag, the sort that you can't get anymore because the Gestapo was stopping them. And I loaded it up, then I went and sat down on a seat just to one side, went through them all, and about 3/4 of what I'd initially sort of pre-selected, I decided not to get, so I went and put them back on the table. And I ended up getting 5 items last time. I got 3 items today. So, I'll start with the first one, because this actually is, relates to it. The Myseterious Cities of Gold, and it actually indicates on the back, this release has been specifically made up for Australia. It refers to ABC TV, that it's played on ABC TV. So as you see with this one, it's got the slip cover, I guess you'd call it a slip cover, and it opens out. And it has actually got the 2 booklets. When you get it completely open, it's missing 1 disc, disc 6. So it's just missing that 6th disc. And my question, certainly to my friends in Australia, is, can you get me the last 6 episodes as backup copies of the Myseterious Cities of Gold? There's 39 episodes altogether, and this is missing disc 6, and it does actually say under the discs what episodes are there, and there's 6 episodes on that disc. So it's the last 6 episodes. And the titles, which I will put in the written description. I'll look them up later and read out the episode titles. But I still thought for $2, I got a funny feeling I've seen some of those episodes. Yes, it's animated, it's cartoon, but it's one of the more serious ones. don't know where it's made. There was a system of like credit points for children's television, and for things that had certain educational value, they could get some. The television could get some sort of like credit points for airing them. I'll just separate out the ones I got today. Documentaries that changed the world, and it's the name here, the John Pilger collection. He's a guy who's done lots of documentary things. This one's got The Quiet Mutiny, Do You Remember Vietnam, Year Zero, The Silent Death of Cambodia, and Death of a Nation, The Timor Conspiracy. So the first two about Vietnam, Cambodia, the killing fields, and Timor. And of course, East Timor, to people from Australian or Australasian background, East Timor's a very sore point. Tropical island up north of Australia. Had always had substantial links with Australia because it's the nearest big landmass to it. Was given its independence by Portugal in 1974. And about a year later, Indonesia simply invaded with military force and took it over. There were international, mostly Australian, journalists there at the time. They basically just got machine gunned, unarmed civilians, and international journalists were basically machine gunned and killed. And the Australian federal government got into bed with the Indonesians and just hushed it all up and all that, and it was just appalling. The activities of the Australian federal government at the time are an absolute disgrace. Even if Australia had not wanted to get involved militarily, to allow its own citizens just be machine gunned to death by Indonesian soldiers and say nothing, appalling, an absolute disgrace. The Australian federal government at the time should really hang its head in shame. Needless to say, they retired with big fat pensions and gave themselves knighthoods and all the sorts of things that politicians do. So the Timor one was sort of, I would have bought that one just for the Timor one, virtually. But, of course, Vietnam and Cambodia were big news and big social events in New Zealand and Australia too, because it is our neck of the woods. And although it was primarily American military power over there, Australia and New Zealand did send soldiers there, and soldiers did die there. And it was, there were rallies at the time, bring our soldiers home, don't fight, all those sorts of things. So, that's actually a 3-disc set, and they're all there. So that's one 3-disc set, and they were all there. Blue box. Aha. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think I've ever seen it. It's an absolute cult classic. So I thought, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, $2, we'll have one of those. Another cult classic, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know there's a number of special editions and ones with extras, whatever. This seems to be just a basic one. I see it's listed a couple of special features on the disc, but it's only a single disc set, so it's only a single disc. And here's one, and I bought this, I got this for a number of reasons. It's SBS Australia, which is the special broadcasting service of the ABC. Go Back to Where You Came From, Series 3. Okay, now I actually saw Series 1. There was a time when you could get Tasmanian television in New Zealand due to a quirk of the satellite Freeview system. And I watched it a bit. And there was actually a couple of seasons. And I didn't even know there was a Season 3 until I found this disc. But Go Back to Where You Came From, which is sort of like a slur or figure of speech anyway. With the Season 1, what they did, they sort of went round and found sort of 6 typical fairly racist Australians, put them on some leaky boats, pushed them off in the direction of Indonesia and Asia, and sent them on their way. Now, of course, it was a controlled social experiment, and they took them and showed them some refugee camps in Africa and all those kind of things. So it was, but it was, whether it classes as a documentary or a reality show, it was, I guess, a bit of each and a bit of, yeah. So it was quite good. Anyway, this is season 3, and I think it's a slightly different format. But anyway, I see the DVD's actually presented by Madman, made up by Madman. Madman are one of the agencies in Australia and New Zealand that I think they also do a lot of the anime DVDs too. They get licensed, English language licensed to Japanese material. But yeah, I thought, there we go back to where you come from, an SBS production. Disc just came loose, but the disc's a single disc. There we go. Aha! Now here's one I looked at a week ago, and it was still there. So I think the universe was telling me I needed to buy this one. It looks like there's a disc missing, but it's just the packet can hold up to 6 discs. It does specifically say it's a 5-disc set, and all 5 discs are there. Pilot guides, the Pacific. There was a number of these travel program things. Look, there were about 10 of them. There was another one in this series, but this one had most of the Pacific. It's got Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, Hawaii, Tahiti, and Samoa. So, and they're all there, and the discs all look perfect. So a 5-disc set. Here's another $2. And yeah, here's another one I saw a week ago, and it was still there this morning, the last day of their sale. So Ultimate Autos Collection, 3-disc set. It's got all 3 discs. They all look good. And again, why I bought this, it does say it's some of these I wouldn't have bothered so much about, but the Cobra, $1 million cars, Rolls Royce, Silver Arrows, Bugatti, and Duesenberg. Well, Duesenberg's a particular interest, so apparently there's 2 featured on each disc too. But there we go. So that's it. So if you get the right way for it to come out, my 6-disc set that's got 5 discs. If you can come up with the episodes on the missing disc, let's just read them out. Revolt of the Maya, the Olmec Machine, Aerial Pursuit, the City of Gold, the Great Legacy, the End of the City of Gold. So those are the episode titles, but it's the last 6 of 39. And it's I looked today again for that Tintin one, and I would have bought it if it was still there. It had lost its outer slip cover, and it was in a presentation similar to this, although it was a bit more ratty, partly because it had lost the outer slip cover, and it was missing 2 discs. So it only had 4 of the 6 discs there. There was another one I looked at the other day, and it had one of the discs was badly damaged, actually physically damaged. It would not have played. The whole hole was broken on the disc. I don't think that was the Tintin one. But anyway, so someone got the Tintin box set without the box and missing 2 discs. But there we go. I'll actually might watch the Duesenberg one first, actually. But yeah, so there we go. Alice's. And I was speaking to a young fella today. They had 2 people at the front counter there doing various chores because they're checking in DVDs, checking in people for the cinema and selling popcorn. And he did say they recently had a change of ownership because I said, when's your night? You know, how long until between your sales? When was your last one? So when will your next one be? And he said, this is the only one we've ever had that I know of. He said, we've changed ownership. And I said, are you still going to have the rare DVDs? Because, I mean, it's the one sort of thing they do. But anyway, Alice Cinematique on the corner of High Street and, well, anyway, High Streets are... unlike England, High Street's only a short little street, diagonal. Half of it's still fenced off, or a portion of it's still fenced off. But yeah, they have stuff that's sometimes hard to get. That's all, folks. I'm going to turn the camera off, and then I'm going to turn the fan back on. It's a good warm afternoon today. And we'll put this video up. And your bonus for watching this video, this is actually video number 1000 on my main channel. Woohoo! Since 2011, when I created it. So, that's all. Cheerio, folks.